Hi, hello, I'm back. Welcome to my channel. Hi Flosstube, how are ya? My name is Cameron. I go by Cam the Stitcher here on Flosstube and on Instagram. This is a channel about cross stitch, and I'm happy to be doing this today. That sounded like I was questioning that. It has been well over a month since I did my last regular Flosstube update, and over a month since I last filmed. So the last video I put out was my 2023 end of year, or 2024 whip parade. And thank you all for, first of all, I got a lot of new subscribers from that, and I so appreciate you all being here. And if you're still watching and you subscribed, welcome. If you are new here, welcome. I'm going to show you lots of cross stitch stuff. I will get into life updates at the end, and I also on this channel love to talk about like books and things. But in the year 2024, I have decided I really love the people on Flosstube that kind of talk about what, not only what they're reading, but what they're consuming, like as in any type of media, whether that is TV shows, movies, video games, music, things like that. Michaela from Cinematic Stitches does this, Cross Stitch Kate does it, and I really love like hearing what people are watching. Even if I've watched it or I haven't watched it, like it's great for getting recommendations. It's great for just like, I don't know, connecting and being like, I love that show too. So yeah, I kind of just want to like do that. And I really want to incorporate music because I make a monthly playlist on Spotify every single month. I have done that since 2018, pretty much. Yeah. So I really enjoy music. I really enjoy finding new artists. And so I kind of want to do that this year. But that'll be all at the end, I promise. First things first, I'm going to show you cross stitch stuff. So I'm going to do like a January recap and then tell you a little bit about what I've done in the month of February. It is like February 9th today. And then I'll talk about February plans, and then we'll get into all the other stuff. So yeah, welcome. All right, so the first thing I want to show you was a start and finish in the month of January. This is the 2024 Pride Stitch Along that D's 20 Stitches is putting on. This year it is a Quaker like sampler, spot sampler, or you can do individual pieces. There's a new piece pattern coming out every month. So the first month was Keith Haring, and I went ahead and stitched that motif. I love it. The second one has already come out. I have not dived in to read about that artist, nor have I started the motif. But this one is done. I have decided that I am going to do them all individually, and I'm either going to finish them as like little pillows, or I'm going to do like maybe a journal finish. Dare I start a cross stitch journal? This was so fun to stitch. I stitched it on a 40 count linen from Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers. I don't remember the name, but it was one of their monthly ones like last year or maybe 2022. And this is a Mo's Sale silk that I had in stash called Lake Placid, which was perfect for the first one. I'm just pulling from stash for all of these that I'm going to do throughout the year. I really like the idea of finishing them all as little pillows and then like somehow connecting them with like a pretty cord or something, and then like putting bells on it or something and having it like hang somewhere. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like something like that, like very decorative and cute, but like the pillows aren't just sitting somewhere. Like I kind of want them hanging on the wall, if that makes sense. Anyways, who knows if that's ever gonna happen, but this is so cute. So yeah, the second one I'm definitely gonna do on different fabric with a different floss I have in stash, but this was very cute. Probably took me about 3 days, I think. So yeah, that was my first finish of 2024. I'm counting the start as one start because I can, and I make the rules. And then I'm counting the finishes as as individual finishes. Whatever. If you're new here, I make my own rules. I'm trying to not start as much this year, and really concentrate on a finish, but I was not going to miss out on this Pride stitch along. And like things like that just like I want to join in. I'm not going to stop myself, but I am being definitely more thoughtful and mindful about what I'm starting. And then anything I want to like start as a gift for someone, which that brings me to my next new start. This is for my sister. She, my friend Marjorie from Marjorie Made, she follows her on Instagram, and Marjorie posted, she's been posting all of her whips as like a Instagram whip parade. So if you want to go check that out and see everything that she has as a whip, go check out her Instagram as well as her whip parade. I mean, you can't get enough of her. But my sister saw what we lovingly call the Pickle Whip, which is an Owl Forest embroidery sampler that Marjorie's stitching. And my sister was like, I love this. And I was like, oh, like, do you, like, I can get you the pattern. Do you want me to sit, like, whatever, you know, buy her the pattern or whatever? And my sister is a very busy girl. And she was like, yeah, I'll stitch it when I retire, you know, whatever. And I said, you know, I could just stitch it for you. And she was like, please. So I started that. Very, very small start, but this was so easy. I just pulled the DMC from Stash. I'm doing it 2/2 on a 32 count Blue Ridge linen by Atomic Ranch. And I think this is just like a 1/8 fat eighth, that I had in Stash. And I think this is perfect, for all those greens that are going to be on this. So yeah, super, super small start, but, I'm just going to stitch on it when I feel like it. And my sister knows that I don't finish anything that fast, so she'll get it. The other start I wanted to show, this was my New Year's Eve, like, start. I don't know. I did show this in my whip parade, but I kind of wanted to show it here on my regular Flosstube update. I did talk about this before. This is Jan Hicks' Colors of Mexico that I really love. And I got all of the Vicky Clayton silks, the pack. Hello, there we go. I put them on my Adam Hart floss bobbins. Gorgeous. Okay. And I did start this. It's obviously a super small start because I started it on New Year's Eve, and I was very sick. But this is on a 40 count, lightly salted, not roasted, V-Stitch Me linen. And that is my very small start. She's gorgeous. She's beautiful. She's on my Whip Go board, but no like direct goals for her yet. I will go into all of the goals that I have. My friend Bridgen, the museum stitcher, and I, we're just on one this year. We're really into these goals that we've made for ourselves, and some of our goals overlap with each other. Oh, hello, Vindaloo. Welcome. So I'll get more into like what we've been doing, but we're going to take a little bit of a Vindaloo break, I think. Do you need to say hello to everyone? Oh my goodness. You know, my theory is that she knows how cute she is and she uses it. My next start, I started this January 31st for Carrie's birthday. If you're not familiar, Tiger Lily Designs here on Flosstube and on Instagram. She is doing a stitch along for her birthday. She does one every year, and I could not resist joining in this year because she always picks beautiful pieces. I want to join in every year. But this time in particular, she picked not quite as big of a girl that she usually picks. And this is Ann Richardson. This is the sampler that she is stitching for the stitch along. The colors, okay? There is a Vicky Clayton silk pack for this that I believe Carrie is using. And I went ahead and pulled from Stash. because I knew that I had some Moe's Sale spools of silk, which she does sell these now on her Etsy shop, Moe's Sale. But she sent these to me and she said they were great for, you know, subbing colors for samplers. And boy, was she right, because I literally had 2 perfect greens, a pink, and I think that was it for the spools, but I had a perfect red. This is a Moe's Sale silk. And then I had 2 color and cottons. So one is a dark green, and then I brightened up the blue quite a bit from the called for, because it does look really bright on the picture. So that's what I did. I'm stitching this on a piece of 40 count flannel flower by Fox and Rabbit. This is my first cut of flannel flower. All my friends use it, and pictures, video, it does not do it justice. It is the most beautiful fabric. I just can't get over like how pretty this fabric is. So I pulled this out on January 31st, and then I stitched on it until I hit 10%, at least 10% on this. Marjorie has a goal of getting all of her whips to 10% by October, the 10th month. And I want to join in on that. So everything I want to try, especially new starts that I'm doing, obviously I'm being more intentional. So anything I start, I'd like to get to 10%. The only thing that's not going to count towards that are my full coverages. 10% for some of the full coverages I have is an exorbitant amount of stitches. So those actually, I'm not counting my full coverages in my whip list anymore. I have made that decision because I make the rules, and my full coverages, I only have like 4 of them, 3 or 4. You know, they're going to take me years and years and years and years and years. And it's just a completely different process than my other stitching. And like, to me, it's a separate hobby. And I mean that. It is a separate hobby. You full coverage stitchers, that's like all, like that's the majority of what you do. I get it. It's so fun. It is so fun to stitch on them. And I'm counting them. They are going to have their own separate little list. Okay. But anyways, back to this. This is gorgeous. I'm loving it. I definitely want to work on this a little bit more this month in February because of #pink February stitching. But yeah, no like solid goal, but I mean, I finished my goal of like getting to at least 10%. That's kind of the goal for everything at this point. So let's get into some whips. Those were all my new starts and finishes, which again, there shouldn't be that much of those, in every video. But it's been over a month, so obviously there were some. Speaking of full coverage, I pulled out my full coverage. This is Arcadia. It is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. The artist is Bob Doucette. I pulled this out because I had an itch to, and you know, when you have an itch to do some full coverage, you should scratch it, you know? So I pulled it out, and I was doing Royal Rose on this. I'm not going to get into why. I mean, it just didn't work for me because I was getting lines, essentially. So this is a mess, but what I did was I took a lot of the parked threads I had going, and I started doing just cross country. I think that is going to just be how I do my full coverages now. I'm going to work still, like let's say I start this box over here. I'm gonna work in the colors of this box, but I'm gonna take, when I thread the needle with that color, I'm gonna take it as far as I can until I can't count anymore, or until the thread is gone, and then I'm gonna start with the next color in this box, if that makes sense. So anyways, I got about 1,500 stitches on this, which of course it doesn't really look like it because it's all scattered all over the place, but you can start seeing like this is gonna be a bubble. You can see like things are taking shape, which is cool. What I loved about this method was like you get a picture like you get this solid amount of stitching, and that was really cool. And I really loved the mythology of Royal Rose, but you can see I have these very distinct column lines. You can really see it in certain lighting, but anyways. So yeah, I got some good amount of progress on that, and now I feel less intimidated to just like pull it out and kind of transition it out of Royal Rose. So that is good. Next, let's talk about Pickle Whip. So in the month of January, my friend Marjorie over at Marjorie Made Stitches, she pulls a prompt on the 1st and the 15th of every month. And that prompt can be anywhere from like something a little bit more specific to a little bit more broad, and you can kind of interpret it in any way you want to. I love taking the prompt, picking a handful of whips that fits that prompt, and then letting you guys vote on Instagram. So that's what I did in the month of January. The first Pickle Whip, and I don't remember the prompts off the top of my head. I want to say the first one was an intimidating whip, and I had you guys vote, and y'all picked Fruits of Plenty by Modern Folk Embroidery. My goals for my Pickle Whips are for at least the month of January, it was to get 500 stitches in. That might just, depending on the whip that I pick, or depending on, the prompt or what's going on that month, I might change that goal, but right now I like 500 stitches. So that is where I got to. I think I worked, I want to say, obviously the heart. I definitely worked on that. I think I like got a lot of this done. I'm kind of working over, but also down a little bit at the same time. So yeah, I love this. I love how it's working up. I don't have the DMC in front of me. I know I got a DM asking which 2 colors these were. If you are curious, I know I've said it in other videos, but just DM me or comment on this video and I will let you know. I love this. I'm stitching this on a 40 count Zweigart blush linen. And yeah, just 1 thread of DMC over 2 squares. My next Pickle Whip, I think it was like your favorite color or something. And of course, I have about a gazillion pink whips. So I let you guys vote on Instagram. And you guys voted for Love Bug Sampler, which I was surprised. I mean, I was excited, but I was surprised. This is not my most pink whip, but it has lots of pink threads. So I pulled this out and I got quite a bit done. I am almost fully done with like before this line. I need to bring this over, fill out the year because it's gonna get finished this year. And then at the bottom, you can see there's gonna be room for, I think it's like 4 moths at the bottom. I'm so excited. So to get a little bit into plans for February, this will be finished in the month of February. I started this last February, 2023 with Marjorie. This was her first stitch along, I think she did. And I'm finishing it. I think her goal is also to finish this in this month in February. So I'm excited. She's a little bit further along than me, I think, which is fine. But yeah, I think we're both gonna finish it. I'm stitching this on 32 count Sprite Lugana by Picture This Plus with all the called for DMC. Okay, the next whip that I'm going to show you, this is our monthly like full moon stitch. We started this in November of 2023. This is called Sarah Moon. It is by Stitchy Box Samplers. It's a reproduction Quaker sampler. And I did a full like whimsy goth DMC conversion for this. You can find it on my Instagram. And yeah, I pulled this out on the full moon and I only got like a little over 100 stitches on it because I had a migraine and I just wanted to move on to other goals that month in January. So I really only worked, I think, in this motif right here. I think that's it. But it's looking great. This month I definitely want to get at least 500 stitches in this. So I might work on it obviously on the full moon and then maybe the next day or however long it takes me. But yeah, I'm stitching this on Wild Mint 40 count by Atomic Ranch. It's beautiful fabric. Moving on, so my whip go calls for the month of January, it was, this was one of them, and this is Little Brown Bat by Cottage Garden Samplings, and my goal was 1,000 stitches on this, and I did it. I actually completed all my goals in January but one, which is pretty good. So yeah, I know, here she is. This is where I got to. I started to kind of outline that top of the bat wing, and then I wanted to get the design aspect done in this wing so that I could just do fill in with the black. I did stitch these 2 leaves. That one's not fully done, and then obviously I went down into the body and got the eye and the ear outline done. I love now that it's like taking more shape. I kind of like the way I did this, and then I can just save this wing for fill in, essentially. I'm stitching this on a 40 count Picture This Plus linen in the colorway Ancient. And yeah, I'm using called for DMC, but I subbed out the overdyed for a color and cotton. My next whip go call was Consider the Lilies by Heartstring Samplery. Oh, this, I've talked about it before. I love my choice, but it is hard to stitch on. I have to stitch on it in the daylight and I have to use magnifiers. But I got my 1,000 stitches on this as well, so I'm very proud of myself. If you are interested in my recharting of the quote or the Adam and Eve, I have recharted the Adam and Eve to be 2 skeletons, and I recharted the quote to be a Virginia Woolf quote that I really enjoy. But yeah, if you're interested, just let me know. You can DM me and send me your email, or you can email me at camthestitcher@gmail.com. But I got my 1,000 stitches in. That B-skep, I'm sorry. On this fabric, yeah, it's so good. I love it. I love this so much. But man, is this a bitch to stitch on. So this is 40 count Winter Wren by Fox and Rabbit. I got this huge cut from Hollis Hands Creates on Etsy. I'm stitching it with the called for DMC because I think the colors for this are beautiful, but my thing was like, okay, but what if we did it on this dark linen? And I am loving it. I literally have not had to change any colors yet. Even this like green that you're seeing in this tree, hold on. Like even these, I don't mind, like when you hold it back, you can see it, kind of. I don't mind that it's more subtle. Like I really love the movement of color on this, and I really love how like these yellows are popping and like the border's super popping, like, which is great because if you're gonna do all that work on a border, because these flowers are no joke. Those are a lot more stitches than you think they are. I know for those of you that have stitched on this or are stitching on it, like, you know, but okay, the next whip that I pulled out on the 13th of January, because I'm still going to pull this out every 13th until I finish it. I started this with the Seattle Stitcher, Megan, here on Flosstube, and we started this on January 13th of 2023, so I pulled it out on January 13th of this past month, I should say, duh. And I don't remember, I think I did quite a bit. I stitched on it, I think, for one day. So I finished this motif that was not complete yet. And then I want to say I filled in all of the dark motifs within this moth. And I started doing maybe more of the fill-in. I'm not sure. But I got some stuff done on that. And I'm loving it. I want this to be done this year. But I knew with all my other goals, trying to push this for a finish in January wasn't going to work. So, and that's okay. It's gorgeous. Okay, my next whip, this is a fan favorite, one of my favorites. I'm pushing for a finish on this year. So my goal every month is to get about 1,200 stitches. And then I think I'll have 1 month where I dedicate to this. So I'll probably get some extra, at least another 1,500 or 1,000 stitches on this to get it closer to a finish. This is Mary Morgan's by Fox and Rabbit Designs. And I love this. So I worked on this on New Year's Eve for about 5-ish hours, maybe 6 hours. I was pretty sick, so like those weren't like solid hours. And then I pulled it back out in January for its 1,200 stitches, and I got that goal done. So this is where I'm at. Don't mind the wrinkles and the hoop mark, because that's just gonna, you know, you're gonna have that on them big jobs. So, so I finally finished the full, like the center rose part of this motif, and I'm so excited. It was a lot. It was dense stitching, but she's gorgeous. It's so funny. I know Carrie from Tiger Lily Designs, I think she started in the middle and started with this. And I know Allie from Allie Z Crafty, like she was talking about how she just started this and she started in one of the corners. And she was like, I know if I start in the middle with that rose, I'm not going to want to, it's not that I'm not going to want to stitch the rest of it, but like she's waiting to get to this rose. It's worth it. But it also, you're going to stay at this rose for a while, I'm telling you. But it's worth it. I'm excited to finish it out. Next time I pull this out this month, which I think I'm going to pull this out this coming week. I want to finish out this entire motif and then start getting over here. It'll go faster once I get past this huge motif. And then I'll just have the 3 pages at the bottom. And which I haven't figured out what I'm going to put for the quote, but that's okay. Stitching this on 40 count platinum linen by Zweigart with all of the called for DMC. And she's gorgeous. I have 2 more whips to show you. And then we'll get into plans, the tiniest amount of haul, and yeah, other stuff. So the next whip I'm gonna show you, this was the one goal I did not complete in the month of January. Which is fine because it wasn't necessarily a hard and fast goal. Bridget and the Museum Stitcher and I are aiming to finish a Days of Christmas, either the sampler or the tree. I'm doing the trees, she's doing the samplers. We're gonna finish one of the pieces every other month. So last month I should have gotten to about a halfway point on this. I did not, but that's okay because really, as long as I finish this piece at the end of February, I'll stay on track. So this is the second day of Christmas tree, and that is where I got to. I love it. So I'm stitching this on a 36 count fiber on a whim linen in the colorway Ivy, I believe. I did switch out the snowflakes for just like DMC white, but I'm keeping everything else as called for. Obviously, I chose a much darker, much more colorful linen for this, so I wanted the snowflakes to look like snowflakes and stand out. I think they're originally called for it to be in 310, so I just switched it up. Yeah, I'm almost done with this bird, and then obviously I need to do the fill-in on this one. And then move down. My cat is killing me. But yeah, I did a good amount of stitching. I just didn't get it exactly to the halfway point, which I think was like 2,000 stitches. So no worries. I'm going to finish this month. So my last whip, this is really the big lift in terms of goal. So Bridget and I are both doing this as well. We both want to finish the Vanity Sampler by Hello from Liz Matthews by the end of the year. So for me, that means about 1,500 stitches a month, give or take. For her, I think it was about 1,600 stitches. And this is the Vanity Sampler. I did a full color conversion for this, which is not posted on my Instagram, but you can DM me or email me and ask for that conversion. It is, I call it my like Victorian goth conversion. Let me show you the DMC. I've shown this a million times, but if you're interested, it's a lot of like greeny grays, beautiful like dusty roses, plum color, and then this teal and this bright pink. So we're stitching this. I have already completed my February goal for this, and I finished my January goal. So I did 1,500 stitches in January and this month. So what, that's 3,000 stitches since I've last seen you. Ooh, I love it. So that is where I'm at. I am stitching this on a 36 count linen by Fiber on a Whim in brown sugar. And I'm stitching 1 strand of DMC over 2. I'm stitching this all in hand, so it's going really nice and fast. So what I did last month was I finished out this corner, brought the border down, and then this month I fully finished this border here, started on the words, started this motif, and then brought the border over here down a bit more. And that was 1,500 stitches, so this is going away for the month, but this is gorgeous and beautiful, and I love it, and I can't wait to finish it. So next month, I will pull it out again to get 1,500 stitches, and I'll definitely finish all the words, and then probably the motifs around it, and then start the border that looks identical to this under it. And then I can't wait to get into like the big vase at the bottom and what else? Yeah. So like next month I'll do all of this, and then I'll probably take a month to do more border, and then I might like treat myself and do a butterfly. And then I can't wait to get down into all of this. And then by the end of the year, I'll be down in here doing mostly border stitching, but oh, I cannot wait. So those are all my whips. Let's go ahead and get into February plans. So the first overarching plan is my friends and I started a hashtag called Pink February Stitching, where we want to stitch on all of our pink whips. So that could be pink fabric, pink thread, both, all of it, just the vibes of pink, however you interpret that. So if you are interested, go check out our Instagram. I posted a graphic that you can use and share your pink stitching, or you can just share it with the hashtag, tag us, you know, all that good stuff. My next goal I'm gonna try to get done is my Mary Morgan's 1,200. And then I'm gonna concentrate on love bugs. I'm going to get love bugs done. Then I'm gonna finish out my second day of Christmas tree. And then I'm going to get to my whip go calls, which I'll cover. But first, I do wanna show this just because I have it. My friends and I have been doing a round robin throughout the year, last year, and we're almost done. So I got Elizabeth's from Frizzy Lizzy Stitches. Hers is stitched on Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers, 36 count linen, and Mermaid Mules, which I have this in 40 count and I love it. And she's stitching it with DMC 3842. And I just got this in the mail the other day. I haven't stitched on it yet, but this is also in my plan to get done. I'll probably pull this out at the beginning of next week and get it done pretty fast. I just worked on Megan's last month and sent that off to Maddie from Kitty Stitch on Instagram. So I'll be working on this motif here, but it looks so good. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. So my whip go goals for the month of February, one of them is a whip I just started at the end of last year. It is the Christmas wreath by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. I have not touched this since I started it. So this is where it's sitting at. I started in the middle with the roof. So my goal for this is 1,500 stitches. About 1,600 stitches will get it to 10%, which is kind of the goal. So I'm going to try to get it to 10% this month. But I'm going to save this for the end of the month. Yes, it's a Christmas whip in a Halloween bag because that's what I have available to me. The next whip go call, this is Gaia the Earth Goddess by Bella Filipina. And I haven't worked on this since I started it either. I got this from my friend Kat over at Whittier Stitches. And my goal originally, okay, my goal is 1,500 on this as well. But if I want to get it to 10%, which again, I don't have like hardly anything started on this. This is stitched on a 32 count Coral Sands linen by Jackson Fabric Arts. If I want to get this to 10%, it's going to be about 3,300 stitches. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to work on it, see how fast, because I am stitching this in hand, see how fast I go. And if I get to 1,500 stitches and I feel like I don't want to work on this anymore, / I need to get to other stuff, then I'll move on. But if I want to keep going and get it to 10%, then I'll do that. But no promises. Okay, my next thing I'll talk about quickly is I have a little bit of acquisitions, haul, whatever you want to call it. I did sign up for Lindy Stitches. She's doing a new club this year. It's called the Endangered Species Club, and this is the first one that I got in the mail. Obviously, this is what sold me. Like, I was like, I have to have that. Because you know what it's giving? It's giving Elisa Frank adjacent. So in that vein, I did pull the DMC for this, and I decided to amp up 2 of the colors. So instead of this, let me show you real quick. I'm struggling though. Instead of what was called for like this, like, almost like corally, like, I don't know. It's like a corally color. It's beautiful. Instead of that, I picked this hot pink that matches my shirt. So I'm going to trade that out for that. And then there was this yellow color that's called for these little motifs. And I think around in the border, I pulled a more like electric-y green for that. So I don't know, because I don't want to change the majority of the colors because I love the colors, but I wanted to just brighten up those 2 colors for myself. And I'm going to stitch it on the called for. This is 32 count Silver Moon linen. I got this from the Cross Stitch Nook on Etsy. And yeah, so I'm excited. I don't know when I'm going to start it. Like, I kind of want to start it, but then I'm also like, this is a really great summer start, so maybe I'll save it. Sorry, my cat is laying in her tunnel, and it's one of those crinkly tunnels, and so she's making a lot of noise. Okay, the next 2 things that I acquired was number 2, the Castle, and the new series by Cottage Garden Samplings. I am part of Abby Topknot's like auto shipping on these. So I got that last month, and then I just got this, I think, this week. This is number 3. This is the greenhouse, which I love. I love both of these, but this is just like, I don't know, this is ethereal. That cat will be made gray. to match my little kitty. But everything else is gorgeous and I'm not changing it. Same with this. This is not being changed whatsoever. I love it. That's it. So I'm going to do a cheeky little sneaky giveaway right here. I've had this in my stash and I just don't think I'm ever going to start it. So I wanted to give this away to someone who would really appreciate it. This is the Scary Sampler by Heartstring Samplery. I will say I might have written on the very back page where it has like the threads. I might have written like a impromptu conversion, but I haven't actually written on the chart or anything. So anyways, I want to give this away. So use the word scary, but don't be mean to me. Like, use the word scary in your comment. And then next video, I will pick a winner and I will ship this out to you. It's 247 by 215 stitches. And it's called for to be on a 32 count. And it's called for 3 different overdyed. So Classic Colorworks, Gentle Arts, and Weeks. But there is a DMC conversion included. So if you're interested in winning this, use the word scary in your comment and I'll pick a winner next time. I haven't done a giveaway in a hot minute, so that's that. That is all for stitching. I am going to get into books and things that I've been watching and listening to and all of that good jazz. So if you're not interested in that, I will see you next time. All right, so I have so many thoughts and feelings. Here we go. I'll start with books first, just because traditionally that's what I have always done on this channel. But I have read several things since I last spoke to you, but I'm only going to cover my like really standout ones that got 5 to 4 stars from me. So the one I just finished the other day, this is called Mostly Dead Things. I gave this 5 stars. It's weird, but it wasn't as like weird as it kind of started off a lot weirder. And then I was like, oh, this is just kind of like I don't know. It's like complicated human story in the sense of the main character is, she helps run her family's taxidermy shop, and definitely a big trigger warning for like dead animal talk. If you're not into that, like, don't read this book. It doesn't get like super, I don't know, like there's definitely descriptions, but I don't know. So if you don't think you can handle that, don't read this book. But the beginning of the book, she's kind of having this flashbacks with her dad, and you know, her dad was the one that taught her how to do taxidermy, and she finds him dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. And so it's very sad, and like sorry, my cat is so annoying right now. I can't do anything about it. Her relationship with her dad is very complicated because like she definitely, you can tell like she wanted his approval like very badly, so she worked really hard. She did all this taxidermy stuff with him, but also it's like it's weird, and her dad was obviously a complicated man, like clearly. And so it kind of takes you through that, and then it takes you through her relationship with her brother and her mother as well. I can't with my cat. Okay, so the angle is probably like way off now. I don't know. Whole thing tipped over. I took away her tunnel privileges. She's pretty mad. But anyways, I'm gonna keep talking. So, Mostly Dead Things. So she complicated relationships, right? And then she also had a thing with her best friend, like growing up. So they had kind of like a secret relationship. And you could tell that her best friend was definitely like, she was a complicated person as well. And like kind of, in my opinion, kind of the antagonist of the book. Like she very much, you'll find that she did things, and like the way that she kind of used the main character and the main character's brother, and kind of, I don't know, it was a really good, like, human interest type of story within this setting, and I really enjoyed it. And, like, there isn't, I know, like, a big critique for books, especially, like, lesbian love stories or whatever, is that they're always super sad. This one definitely has a level of, like, sadness and melancholiness to it, but it does have, like, a happy, a light ending. Like, I liked the ending. The other book that I read this month and really enjoyed was The Marriage Portrait. This was, like, historical fiction, but kind of based on, like, you know, what actually happened, but not really, to this queen long time ago. I honestly just really, I'm not, like, a huge, here's the thing, I do like history, I do enjoy it, but what I liked about this, well, you kind of got into the head of, like, a girl who grows up in this royal family and, like, has everything she could ever want, but then also, like, you can't actually do anything you want, and you're confined to your rooms, like, to learn what you need to learn to be a good wife to some duke in the future. And, like, anyways, it kind of takes you through that, and the imagery is really good. I really liked the way that it was set up, the plot. And then obviously she is married off eventually, and it kind of takes you through that. And obviously the Duke involved is not good. Imagine that. But it was really good. The ending was not as satisfying as I wanted, but also, like, it was, I don't know, they did good with it. So the next book that I read this in January. This is called The Great Alone. I think it's by Kristen Hanna. This is the second book I have finished by her, and it is a historical fiction, but this one took place in Alaska around the 1970s, I think. So post-Vietnam, and the main character, she is really young, and her parents decide to move to Alaska from the Seattle area. And her dad was in the Vietnam War, so of course he has, like, PTSD and those things. He suffers with alcoholism, and he overall is a tough character to read about. And her mom is, you know, doing everything she can to support him and try to be there for him in the best way she can, but they also at the time don't have, like, the most knowledge about PTSD and the effects of war on a person, and especially pairing that with, like, addiction issues and things like that. So, it's very good. Also, like, Alaska has been just a huge thing I've been reading and watching about lately, which I'll get more into that, but the setting was really good. It's brutal. It's brutal. Like, they talk a lot about, like, surviving out there and how you have to survive, and, you know, they are not far from Antarctica. Like, it's very super small town in Alaska, and you have to, like, self-sustain. Like, you have to grow your own food and make sure you have, like, have enough to hold you through the winter. And there are the long nights, or the long night, I guess, like those days where the sun just doesn't come up, and it's so good. And there's, like, love story involved, and it takes you through her whole life, the whole main character's life, and she grows up, and it's so good. It made me cry. Like, it's just, this author I read, now I can't remember the name of it, but it took place during the Dust Bowl, like, and oh my God, that made me cry so hard, and it was so good. It's so good. Anyways, I'm definitely going to read more by this author. I really enjoyed this one. So, and then the last book I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to talk about it so briefly because controversial. Iron Flame. I did talk about the first book of the series. A couple of videos ago, I had finished it and I had complicated feelings about it, right? Like, sure, there were parts of it that were cool, but like overall, did I enjoy reading it that much? No. But I wanted to give the second book a try. Obviously, there was a lot of hype around it. There was also a lot of controversy around the release of this. Was it rushed? There was the whole like distributing and like the books not being printed correctly and whatever. Anyways, long story short, I read it. Still don't like it. I know. And it's like, why am I putting myself through this? But they're so long, but also I'm just like, but I have to at this point. There are parts of it I like. I will say, I really like the side characters, like the supporting cast, so to speak. I think they are way better written than the main characters. And I know some of you are going to tear me apart for that, and that's okay. I am all right with that. The beautiful thing about art is that it's subjective and that not all of us have to like something. And not all of us have to hate something, right? Like, goes both ways. But I just don't enjoy it. I do not like the main character, Violet, at all. I think that I don't know. But this book, I think, even highlighted more that even the other main character, Zane, like Zaid, whatever. Oh my God, I don't even remember his name. That's bad. This book showed me that he also is not written well, and like he's so one-dimensional to me. I don't like him. I think I don't like him more than I don't like the main character, Violet, which is crazy, but I'm just like not vibing. I'm not vibing with this book. I love the dragons. I love like the world of it, which I think is what's making me keep going, but like, oh my God, I don't like the main characters. So I don't know if I will pick up any of the other books that eventually might come out. I don't think it's worth it anymore. So that's where I'm at with that. Okay, so that was what I was reading. Quickly, I want to talk about what I've been watching. Speaking of Alaska, I am my partner and I, Connor, like, we're obsessed with season 4 of True Detective. It's called Night Country and is with Jodie Foster, and another actress that I right now cannot remember her name. And it is so freaking good. We have like overanalyzed every episode. We do like a full breakdown. We have to pause mid-episode and we're like, okay, but then that means this. And like, we are obsessed. If you are a fan of the first season of True Detective and let's say you stopped watching because it got bad, watch this season. I watched the first season when I met my partner, Connor. He was like, it's so good, you have to watch it, whatever. Watched it, loved it, watched it again, and then did another rewatch, and now we're doing another one because season 4 definitely connects to season 1, and it is so good. And then I tried watching season 2 a long time ago, and it was unwatchable. It was very bad. Didn't like it. So I didn't even attempt to watch season 3. My boyfriend was just like, it's not worth it. Just, you don't need to. And I was like, great. So anyways, if you were interested, I recommend watching the first season of True Detective first, skipping season 2 and 3, and then starting season 4 because yes. If you're curious, it kind of works like American Horror Story or Fargo, which that's the other thing we started watching, where like each season is a different story completely with different characters and everything. But it's really, really good. Season 4 takes place in Alaska, very close to the Arctic Circle. There is a group of scientists that go missing. It is very reminiscent of John Carpenter's The Thing. Also kind of reminds me of 30 Days of Night, if you've ever seen those movies. And it's just in general, like, so much more creepy than the first season. I don't know, the first season's pretty dang creepy, but this one definitely leans more into the supernatural aspect, more so than the first season did. But it's so good. The acting's so good. The setting, it takes place during the long night, so like the sun is not coming up. It's so good. So yeah, we're watching that as those come out. And then my dad was talking about the newest season of Fargo was really good, and I never watched Fargo. I really loved the movie Fargo, but I hadn't watched the show. So Connor and I started from season 1. We finished season 1 of Fargo, which was really good. I really, really enjoyed it. And we just started season 2. And so that works the same way, where every season's a different story. And I'm really enjoying it. So that's what we've been watching for the most part. I've also been watching 90 Day Fiancé as that comes out. If there's one thing about me, I'm a balanced person, okay? I love a good show that makes me think. And I also love a reality show that makes me lose brain cells. I love that for me. Especially after a really long day, and I have to use my brain a lot for work. Like, watching drama on a reality TV show, like, I'm so sorry, that's the best thing ever. I can turn my brain off and like eat a burrito, and that's just what I need. So I've been watching that too. That is really all for watching. We've also been playing, it's on the Switch, it's called Overcooked, and it's like a co-op game where you have to like, it's similar to like Dining Dash, or I don't know, it's like you have to work together on these different arenas to get out dishes, and you have to like prep the dishes, you have to chop, cook, put it together, put it on a plate, and then get it out. But you're like in these different levels where like maybe the chopping board's over here and the cooking's over here, but like you're separated and you can't, or I don't know. It's like you have to communicate in the room with the person you're in with. So like Connor and I will sit on the couch and we'll be like, okay, you're gonna do this, you're gonna prep this, and then like while you're in it, you have to be like, hey, order up, take this to the conveyor belt or whatever, or like here's some dishes that have to be washed. Like, it's so fun. It's a little stressful. So after a long day, not necessarily a fun thing to do, but if you have a roommate or a friend that you live with, or your partner or whoever, like, it is so fun. I have seen like a couple of TikToks of couples like yelling at each other, you know, like all in good fun, right? Of like, no, this time we gotta do this, and like we gotta get 3 stars. So we've been really enjoying that. But yeah, and then music. I want to talk about 2 new artists that I have found. Now, new artist doesn't necessarily mean that they are new. It means they're new to me, right? But I do think the first one I'm gonna talk about, I think they are like a new artist. This is The Last Dinner Party. Obviously, I can't play you music. So, but I am going to like put an album art or something up here. They popped up on my TikTok. I think their marketing team is doing a really great job, and they popped up on there. I kind of ignored it, and then I was curious, and one of their songs came up on my Spotify, so I took a listen and I really like it. And I was like, okay, I'm getting into this. So I went through their album I guess their debut album, and I listened to it all, and it's so good. It's very dramatic. It's like this dramatic, grungy, aristocratic, like poppy, but also a little like a tinge of like bubble grunge indie in there. If those words mean nothing to you, I totally understand. But I really like them. It's very, their music videos, I think too, like all of their album art's very like, they're like gilded up and like this aristocratic, like historical period piece type of costuming. And I don't know, they look super rad and I love it. My 2 favorite songs right now, one that's trending on TikTok is Nothing Matters. And then the one I really, really love is Caesar on a TV Screen. So if you're interested, go check that out. Also, if you're interested, I could start maybe a Spotify playlist of just like all the recommendations I give. I could do that, or you can just like go check it out. The other artist I want to talk about, I've been streaming their music like nonstop. I don't know exactly how to say their name, but I think it's Chappelle Roan or Chappelle Roan. I don't know. I'm gonna put like the album art right here. This is, if you love Charlie XCX, like super poppy, but make it lesbian, like very sapphic pop party club music, you're gonna like this. But also she has some ballads in there that are a little bit leaning more like Olivia Rodrigo ballad type of, I mean, there are more people to compare it to, but she has a good mix of both on her albums. And my two favorite are definitely like more upbeat poppy ones, but Red Wine Supernova, it's a really great song I've been listening to a lot, and then Naked in Manhattan. Fantastic songs. If you are interested in any of those artists, please give them a listen. I will say a lot of my music taste, I do listen to a lot of smaller like indie bands, and then I also listen to a lot of like sad gay music. So if that's something you're interested in, awesome. If not, cool. You will probably not hear about any mainstream artists because, I mean, that's not necessarily true. I have been listening to a lot of Olivia Rodrigo. Don't know why I'm into her. I am. And I mean, do I need a reason? Really love Vampire by her. Like, it's so good. But yeah, I think just like if you want to get an idea of my music taste, I mean, it's all over the place. I listen to everything. But like some of my favorite artists of all time, Lady Gaga. Like, is that all I need to list? No, I'm kidding. Lady Gaga, The Decemberists, REM, Adult Mom, Mitski, Ethel Cain. I love like Boy Genius. I love Lucy Dacus. I don't know. The list like quite literally goes on and on and on, but those are probably some of my top artists that always are in like the top 5 of my Spotify streaming. Oh, obviously Fleetwood Mac. They were in my top 5 this past year too. I'm just all over the place. I love all of the things. A little bit of country too, don't get me wrong. Throw in some Johnny Cash. Throw in some Roger Miller. I've been listening to a lot of Roger Miller recently. He is very much like, it's more like folky, like 70s country music. It's so good. Anyways, I could probably go on for years and years about music, so I won't, but I think that is all. I missed y'all. I'm hoping, I never end up doing a life update because like it's not that interesting, but essentially my work life has gotten a lot more demanding. That's a nice way to put it. Not really. I've been having a really hard time at work. It's been super crazy beginning of the year. There's a lot of changes going on, and there's a lot of like, yeah. So I've been doing a lot of long days, a lot of 10, 9-hour days, skipping lunches, things that I normally would not do because I like to have very healthy work-life balance. Very much a believer that you need to log off at 5 o'clock or 5:30 whenever you get, I get off at 5:30, and I've not been getting off at 5:30, and it's like, for what? You know what I mean? It's not life and death. I'm going to tell you what I'm doing is not life and death. So I need to like, anyways, next week will be better. That's what I'm telling myself. It's just been hectic. So I would like to keep up my routine of every 2 weeks or every other week. I usually film a Flosstube. But I can't make promises. So this year it might turn into a monthly update. I hope not, because I have a lot to talk about every month. But if that's the case, I know some of you will appreciate the longer videos. But yeah, I appreciate you for sticking around, for joining me. For commenting, liking, subscribing, all those things. I appreciate all the love, support, and shared just passion for stitching and crafting, and I can't wait for this year. I'm going to 2 retreats, and I'm also going to Nashville Needlework Market. So if you stayed this long, I am going. I'm going to be helping Kathy Barrick, and all thanks to Bridgen. Bridgen is helping, obviously, hello from Liz Matthews, so I can't wait to meet everybody, and it feels unreal, and I'm having a lot of imposter syndrome about that, but I am excited. So perhaps the next time you see me might be right before that, or it might be after that. So I'll definitely do like a recap and all the beautiful things that I saw and the people I met. But yeah, so that's it. Little tidbit of information. I'm excited to see you all next time. Thank you for joining, and yeah, bye, baby.